episode 2 of Viper Rooms. Sam, how you doing, man?
I'm good, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Excited for our guest today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an exciting new rider on the scene. He was at Worlds this year. I didn't really get a chance to talk to him much, or I didn't get a chance to talk to anyone much. That's the way it goes to those big events somehow, you know. You're so busy.
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of talking. I was talking pretty much the whole time, but not really to anyone. No one was answering me back. It's just the same old way. So yeah, I didn't actually get to catch up with him. How was your dinner, Sam? I heard you had a pretty fat dinner tonight, man.
Takeaway trauma, bruv. Like, well, it was all right. Like, we ordered some burgers on Deliveroo, and they got here and we were really excited and everything. And then we like opened the bag and it was fish and chips. It was like someone else's order. So like we were trying not to get stuck into that, but then it was really good. So we like ate half of that, and then the burgers came, and we had the burgers, and I had a little nap, and I woke up and had to do this like 5 minutes later. So, but I'm getting there.
It's all right. You're a professional, a true professional, man. Tell you what, last night
I edit this stuff anyway, so like
yeah,
I can,
if
we say stupid shit, we can edit it out, man. We're not going to get cancelled. Not on my watch.
No. I hope not by the streetboard scene. I tell you what, last night I had a load of beef, man, cooked by the guy who DJ'd at the 1999 National Snakeball Championships. He's taken inspiration from that contest and put it into a slow cooked 8-hour cooked beef, and it was delicious, my friend. Delicious.
Do you think that's what the streetboard scene is, man? It's just a really nice slow cooked beef stew.
Yeah, man, things take time. Yeah. It's been, I think it's, I do think about this quite a lot with streetboarding. It's been around for around 34, 35 years now. And that's around the time that, you've now gone through that process. You've got the flavoring in there. You've got the history behind the cooking of it all. And it's time.
All that like fat is beautifully rendered down,
Exactly, man. Yeah. And we have that crusty outside aged skin that we've got now today with us, Pennsylvania's finest, middle of the meat juiciness, Mr. Jake Keenan. So welcome, Jake.
Wow, what a segue. That was amazing. What's up? Thanks for having me on here.
No worries, man. So, Mr. Beef, how you doing? How's things? So where are you based exactly?
So I live in Eindhoven, Pennsylvania. So it's like roughly like an hour north of Philadelphia. Most people know like Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Cool. And have you lived there all your life?
Yeah, I lived here. I lived like when I was born, I was actually living in the town that my local skate park is at, and then I moved to like Ottsville is kind of just like out in the middle of nowhere in the sticks, kind of. But yeah, I like lived a few years in Quakertown. That's the town, and then moved to Ottsville for most of my life.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So is Quakertown like a true Quaker town then? Like, is it?
I guess that's how it started. I feel like I should know the history of it, but I don't know anything about it.
I'm sure we'll have you back on here in the future, so make sure you know by then. I want to know.
Yeah, I'll do my homework.
Cool. And yeah, man, how did you tell us a bit about, because you are a bit of, what's the word, polymath? Sam, is that the right word? Kind of in a way.
You what?
A polymath? Like,
what's that?
It's like, I see it a lot in, I don't know, science or something. People who do a lot of different science subjects.
People who do lots of different disciplines.
Yeah. And I'd say that describes Jake pretty well. You seem to have extreme sports like flowing through you, and you've got, it's not just streetboarding that you do. So what was your story getting into extreme sports in general?
Yeah, so I have 5 siblings, so I got 3 brothers, 2 sisters, and my 2 older brothers, growing up, they always skateboarded. So skateboarding was like always in my family. My dad skated a little bit. He wasn't like doing tricks or anything, but he just liked skateboarding. So when my younger brothers were growing up, it was kind of like we always had 2 things. We always had skateboards around, and we always had a trampoline. So we were always like going crazy, doing stuff on wheels or flipping around. So yeah, my 2 older brothers, they skateboarded. So I grew up like around that, and I always thought it was super sick. I don't know. Do you have any siblings?
I have a younger sister. Sam,
okay.
You've got?
Yeah, I have 1 brother.
Yeah.
Is he older or younger?
I had to take the notifications off on WhatsApp. He's older, man. He is the chief of police.
Oh yeah.
Devon. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I feel like a lot of people when they got like older siblings, it's like you kind of like look up to them. You like kind of want to be like them, especially when they're doing cool stuff. Like when they're skating all the time, I was always like, that's sweet. I want to be able to do that. And so it was like something I was interested in, and I would mess around on a skateboard. I never like got too into it. I was kind of like I was too afraid to learn a trick and get hurt. It's kind of like I wasn't passionate enough about it. I feel like you get passionate about it eventually, and you're like, if I get hurt, whatever, I just want to do it. So I wasn't like at that point yet. I was just kind of interested in it, but I wasn't like all in. So yeah, I just grew up with it around me, and my older brothers would watch skate videos all the time. They had VHS tapes, like all different skate videos. And they played this one video one day for me. It's called, you know the brand Almost, the skate brand Almost?
Yeah.
So it's a video they made. It's called Round 3, Almost Round 3. And yeah, at the end, there's Rodney versus Daywan. And those two are, to this day, they're my favorite skateboarders. So I like grew up watching skating, and I was like, that's really cool. I didn't really understand it. You know, I didn't know the difference between like a varial heel and a tray flip, you know. But I watched Rodney and versus Daywan, and those two guys, they have such a unique style. Like I felt like when I watched that, it was like now I understand what's happening because it's so different and so unique. Like it wasn't like just flipping a board around. They did like super different stuff, and so that really drew me in. And so yeah, I kind of thought skating was cool, but I just didn't get that into it. And then I saw these guys do it really in a unique way, and I was like, I want to be a skateboarder now. Like that's what did it for me. So after seeing that video, I was like doing like weird old school flat ground tricks and stuff like that. That's kind of what got me into it. And yeah, ever since that I saw that video, I just like got obsessed with skateboarding, and that was pretty much it. I was all in. I was getting into these like old school flat ground tricks, doing like primos and stuff like that. And my brothers, they didn't do any of that stuff. I mean, they thought the video was cool, but my brothers were like, they just want to like skate big stair sets and hit rails and ledges and stuff. And I was over there doing like weird pogos and stuff. And my brothers were like, why are you doing weird stuff? Like go do a tray flip down a stair set. And I was like, nah, that's boring. Like everybody does that. So I don't know. I guess from the start, I always kind of, I feel like even now I have this mentality, like if it's something that a lot of people do commonly, it's like all I want to do is stay away from that. So when I skate, I'm always trying to like make it as unique as I can, pretty much.
Cool, man, cool. I just looked it up just because I was curious. It was 2004.
Yeah, what year? 2004. Okay.
So yeah.
So I was born 97. So I was pretty young when I saw that, but yeah.
Cool, man. And then so when did you get into contact with skateboarding? And then also, you also BMX a little bit, you inline, like
okay, so I do skateboarding and rollerblading. My homie Nate, shout out Big Home Slice. He does BMX. He's really sick. But yeah, so I grew up skateboarding, and then when I was like maybe a senior in high school or something like that, I kind of started getting into rollerblading. I was watching videos, and I was like, this shit's kind of cool. I always thought, like, I grew up on trampolines doing flips and stuff, and I could never do it on a skateboard because like you got to like grab the board as you flip, and the board goes flying. And it was like I could never do that. And so I saw rollerblading, and I was like, I just want to strap some rollerblades on and do some like crazy flips. And so I got some rollerblades, and I was like, I'm gonna be so good at this. And I strapped them on, and I was like, damn, I suck at this. And there's definitely a good learning curve with those. But yeah, I got really into that. I did that for like a handful of years, like mainly rollerblading and not skateboarding as much. And then I don't know, I guess I kind of got bored with rollerblading a little bit, and then I went back to skateboarding. And so it was kind of like I liked having the feeling of something strapped to me, and you feel like you're in complete control, and you can just like haul ass and launch big gaps, and you don't feel like you're gonna lose your board. But I also like the freedom of like you're not strapped to your thing. You have a skateboard, and you can like get super creative with it. So it was like I always kind of felt split. There was like two things that I liked, but this kind of goes into streetboarding is I kind of needed an in between. And so I also have always loved snowboarding, but I just don't do it that much. I live probably an hour from like the nearest like good mountain. And then also it's like only a winter thing. Like you can only go do it for a couple of months. And Pennsylvania, sometimes you get a good winter, sometimes you get a crappy one, and there's like not good conditions. So I would like very rarely go snowboarding. And I was doing it for a little bit, and then I actually broke my collarbone 2 times in one season. And the second time I broke it in 4 places, I think it was. And then I had to get surgery on it. I had a bone like almost coming through my shoulder. And yeah, that was a gnarly experience. So I just kind of saw it as like, I keep wanting to do this thing, but I can only get a couple months to try to do it. And then I hurt myself. So I kind of just like put snowboarding to the side, but I always thought it was like the sickest thing. Like when people are really good at snowboarding, like it's so sick. So yeah, then I was like a teenager. I don't know how old, maybe 14, 15. And I'm pretty sure it was cancellation. I was on YouTube and I was just like looking at recommended videos, and I think it was cancellation that came up. And I was like, damn, this is like a snowboard, but you don't need snow for it. And like, it's right in between a skateboard and rollerblades. You're strapped to it and you can like have this like freedom and do this creative stuff. But I just like saw it and I was like, this is the perfect thing. This is what I need. And so then I went online. I don't know what website I went on to. I just started looking them up. And then I saw the price of them and I was like, I have no job. I can't afford this. And I just thought it was really cool. And I was like, maybe in the future I'll try it out. I don't know. And then I kind of just forgot about it. And then it wasn't until like years later. It's been like 2 years, probably almost 3 years now since I started riding. But yeah, like I'm 26 now, so it was just a few years ago. I was on Instagram and I think I found Sergi maybe just in the Explore page, just some clip of him, and I was like, oh, that's those street boards. Like those are super sick. I should look into those again. And I just checked his profile, and he had like dragon boards in his bio, so I clicked on that, went to their website, and then I just ordered one like right away. And it was kind of the same thing as rollerblades. Like I was like, okay, I skateboard, I rollerblade, I can snowboard a little bit. I'm sure I'll pick this up pretty quick. And it's like an even harsher reality with skateboarding. Like like rollerblading, I was like, I felt confident, and it was really hard at first, but I got it down pretty quick. But streetboarding, I felt like super confident because it looks so similar to like things I've done. And I like, dude, you strap in and it doesn't make sense. Like I tried it for like maybe a week and I was like, I don't know if this is my thing. Like it looks so fun, but like I feel like I just can't do it. Like I thought it was like a problem with me or something. But yeah, I kind of set it to the side for a while. And it was actually I would like do it here and there trying to get the motion down. But I kept rolling my ankle. I rolled it like 6 times within a month. I don't know what was going on. My kickflips were off that month or something. But I was skating and I kept rolling my ankle. And it was my front foot, my flicking foot. So like then I couldn't do any flip tricks. And I was like, it just takes out like half your skating that you can do. And I was like, I'll just strap into the street board because like you're strapped in, your foot can't come off, you can't roll it. So like I'll just do that so I can like let my ankle heal up completely. And then I started getting more confident on it and being able to actually maneuver on it. And then I was like, okay, this is my thing now. Like forget skateboarding. Like once I learned that, it was like a whole new world opened up.
Sweet, cool, man. I just want to say,
you worked it out, man.
You
definitely worked out how to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think I mean, that is the thing with streetboarding. That it's that initial learning curve is hard. It's really hard, and it's like, that's always been an issue with the sport. I do want to say I just took off my hoodie because I'm wearing my cancellation top. So
there you go.
This is a shout out to Thomas Keenan and all the Cetos crew. If you haven't seen cancellation, check it out because that video is insane, man. But I mean that's it's quite similar, I think, for a lot of people with streetboarding. It's like that difficulty coming in, rolling your ankle, skateboarding. When snowboard kind of died in like 97, 98, I skateboarded for like 2 years, and dude, I rolled my ankle like every other time. I know, man. Yeah. But then now, like when I've been riding not strapped in on like recently on the snakeboard and like cruiser boards, it's like I've kind of then gone, oh shit, I can roll my ankle again now, and like that really scared me, man. Cool, man. And one other thing, big shout out to, I saw your guy, Big Home Slice. He won a BMX contest recently, no? You got first place or something. Our local park, it's Free Fall Action Park, but it started out as just free fall. It was just a skate, scooter, and BMX event that was just called Free Fall, basically because it happens in September, which is in the fall, and they give out a bunch of free food and prizes, so they just called it Free Fall. But they would do Free Fall every year, a big contest, and eventually it's a nonprofit organization now, and so they kind of like build up funds and turn it into like, there's a building there that's called the Energy Center.
So there's like a skate shop in there and a snack stand, and there's like staff who work there and like clean up the skate park and all that kind of stuff. And then they earned enough money to build a concrete skate park. It used to be this old wooden, terrible prefab park, but now we got this amazing concrete park that looks like it's like straight out of California. But yeah, anyway, they do the free fall contest every year, and yeah, he started out riding BMX. Now he does a little bit of everything. He does more stuff than me even. He does BMX, skateboard, scooter, rollerblade. Like, just give him any wheels, he's good. But yeah, he rode in the BMX and he got first this year, so that was really cool to see.
Cool, man, cool. And you guys, you work at the park? Do you work?
So
at the
I
skate
used
park?
to.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked there. I was the manager there for like 3 years, and then I left to get another job, just paying more money, and because I was like, I'm almost 26, and I gotta like start making some. It was awesome and really fulfilling working at a skate park and like working with kids and doing all this cool stuff. But eventually, I was like, I gotta like get on with my life. But yeah,
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool, man. Like, sick. And then like, so you came from snowboarding, you skate in the local area, you started riding. What's the story from then? How did you get picked up, get your sponsorship? What was the line, your line from starting skateboarding, not being able to do it, and then what did you ride first? Where did you kind of gravitate towards, and kind of like your style progress to kind of where you are right now? Like, what influenced you on that journey?
So it was like after I was like rolling my ankles, I started streetboarding more, and then I started getting more confident. Like, I remember at my local park, there's like the main street section is like this upper level, and it goes bank ramp down into a lower level where all the features are at, kind of. And I remember like I would have to like focus so hard to get down that bank ramp. Like, you're like all squirrely going down it. And I remember finally being able to just like pump into that as hard as I wanted and not have to think about it. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but that was like, I guess that was around the time when I like started focusing more time into it. And so I started getting more comfortable. And then like, it's like, once you can manage your speed and actually steer around, then it's like, you can start like, it's like unlocking new tricks, especially for me, because I was a skateboarder and like, I felt confident riding these different obstacles and features, but I couldn't do it on this board. Like, once I finally learned on this board, it was like, all right, let's transfer everything over. So my learning process in the beginning was like so slow because it was so foreign to me, especially with a skateboarding experience. I think it made it harder in the beginning for me, actually. But then once I got it down, it was like I started like learning stuff pretty quick. But when I skateboard, I do like really technical Manny shove tricks. I feel like most people would be so bored riding a bank ramp, but it's like my favorite thing in the world. But like I could do like a million tricks on a bank ramp, and then like you give me a ledge and I got nothing. That's just kind of how I always skated growing up. I just like doing weird technical stuff, and like grinds I always hated because I felt like you get on and with a skateboard you ollie and like your feet aren't set exactly right when you get on, and like I always felt unstable and it just wasn't my thing. So I would just like do really technical manual type stuff. So when I first started out streetboarding, it was like I was kind of doing that stuff a little bit, but it was really hard for me because I think manual tricks on a skateboard are like 100 times easier than on a streetboard because you don't have three parts of it moving on you while you're trying to hold it. Yeah. And you can like adjust your feet while you're on a skateboard. Like, I do it all the time. Like, when I land in a manual on a skateboard, like adjust your feet right to where you want so it's comfy. Like on a streetboard, you get in there and you just gotta hold it.
Well, you seem to have figured out the trick that works for you, but the trick that Brinton told me about manuals is you always have to keep your balls in line with the knee that you're manualing on. So nose wheel or manual, kind of keep your center of back. It works, man. It works. But
I never thought about it like that.
You've got your own thing, man, and it seems to work for you. So
I'll tell you. I remember Max Anderson and I think Joshy Newman. They were, I don't know which trip. I can't remember if we were in California or in Chile, and they were watching like Ishmael Calvo, who's obviously one of the best manual skaters ever. And they noticed that Ishmael always does his manuals like this, and then suddenly like they had this big session, and like Max Anderson's going and Joshy Newman, and they could manual, man. And it was like,
Yeah.
it was this. So man, I don't know. I can't do manuals.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
It's like he's got like a coat hanger in his shirt, and he's just,
Oh man, no. I think that's just like faith healing, man. You know, you just got to believe. Yeah, if you believe you've got like the style of Bob, then you will.
Yeah,
I can watch him skate all day long.
Well, I mean, while we're on it, like, I was going to flip around to this later, but while we're talking about Ishmael, you met up with him briefly, and we'll go into your trip a bit more detail. But recently in Paris for a day skate. How was that?
It was 2 days actually.
Oh, was it 2 days?
Yeah,
2 days. Sweet.
Yeah. So I was talking to him months before Worlds, and he just like hit me up randomly, and he was like, "Yo, come to Chile." I was like, "That sounds cool, but I don't know if I can make that happen." But like, I've been watching him for a while because I love manuals and techie tricks, and like, he's the god of all of that. So him and Simon Johns are my two favorite skaters. Like, their techie manual skills they got is amazing. But he was like, "Come to Chile," and I wanted to, but I was like, "Are you going to Worlds? Because I'm gonna go to Worlds. We can meet skate there." And he was like, "Nah, I'm not." And I was like, "Damn, I guess I won't see him there." But when I was out there, I think he didn't text me until I was already out there, maybe. But he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in France. I know you're in Europe. Like, if we might meet up, like that'd be cool to skate." And I was like, "Yeah, after Worlds, I'm gonna spend like 5 days in France." And so it like worked out perfectly. Like, I already planned to go there, so. Yeah, we met up and skated for 2 days in a row, and it was so fun because like I've watched so many clips of his, and I'm like, if I could just skate with him one time, just like, when you watch skaters online, you're like, how consistent are they at doing this like in real life, like like, are they really this good when you like watch them on a session? And like, I remember we went to this spot, it was the first spot we went to in Paris. I don't know if you guys have been there. It's like the spot that's like in that center area of these streets, and it has like those step mani pads kind of, and this weird feature in the middle.
Yeah, I think
it's all different colors, right?
Yeah.
I know that's super famous, man. It's been there for years, but I've never been. No.
Yeah,
I've been there. I just don't do manuals, so I
But we showed up there. We showed up there, and we were skating that like step mani pad thing, and I was like, "All right, just get warmed up." And Bob just rolls in, and he starts doing like 180 fakie mani, 180 nose mani, like every single variation of a 180 into a mani. He just like banged them all out to warm up, and I was just kind of like, I didn't even want to skate. I was like, let me just watch you.
Yeah.
Like it's like meeting like your favorite pro skater. It's crazy, and just being able to like sit and watch their process. Like, it's cool when you watch like a video part and you see all their like hardest tricks, but it's like, I almost like watching someone like struggle to get their trick more. You see like the battle, you kind of appreciate it more. So it's like, usually you don't get to see that. So that was like one of the coolest parts of it. We skated. We skated a handful of spots. We met up the first day, skated 2 or 3 different spots, and then and like right from the start, we were like, let's just film. We knew it was going to be fun, and we were going to like do a lot of cool stuff. So we were like, let's just start filming right away. And we made like a whole little edit, and that was like one of my favorite edits that I've gotten to be a part of so far. So that was like, that was probably like the highlight of my whole European trip, getting to skate with him.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. It's standing and what, like when you go skate with Bob, you watch, he just straps in and then he goes, and it's relentless. He will just keep hitting a trick again and again and doesn't stop, puts his headphones in 90% of the time. And it's if you guys haven't seen the episode before, this was with Ishmael Calvo, so check it out. But he just goes for like an hour, 2 hours, just non-stop. Like, especially at a skate park, and he's just hammering. Go.
I loved it too, because like I'd be filming him getting a clip, and he'd do like, he was doing like 180. I think he was doing 180 hard way into a switch 5-0, 180 out or something like that. And I filmed him. He got one, and I was like, that was amazing. And I went up to him to show him it, and he's like, we need to do it again. Like it's not gonna. It has to be perfect. And I was like, dude, I could not do that trick in a million tries. But it's just cool. Like, he's like such a perfectionist, and it shows.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it's insane. Have you watched much of like Kai Hammond skating? Because he's definitely down that type of that world of manuals and stuff.
Now you're gonna have to send me some links.
Yeah. He's got. I mean, he still skates and he's got like this insane style. Did you watch? We did recently on the channel like the Barcelona Streetboarder, like the series about all of the Barcelona Streetboarder videos. He's the one who made those.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, cool, and then cool, man. So yeah, what about the rest of your European trip? That was Worlds was the focus, but was that your first time heading over to Europe?
Yeah, I've never been outside of America in general. I've traveled a lot within America, but never left the country. And so I told my girlfriend, I was like, I saw that Worlds was gonna, because I knew of Worlds, but I've never got to go to one because it didn't happen when I was streetboarding. You guys posted a thing and it was like Worlds is happening in Eindhoven this year, and I told my girlfriend about it and I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to go there. And like it was like a couple hours later, she was like, hey, I got a flight out to Paris. And I was like, awesome. Like she got on it for me, because we were like,
that's so cool, man.
Yeah, she's been to Europe once before. She was in Paris for like a month. She went to like Rome and a couple other places. But I always wanted to go to France and just Europe in general. So she got us tickets to Paris. So we landed in Paris, spent the first night there, then went to Amsterdam, spent a night there, and then from there went to Eindhoven, and then we were there for the whole World's portion of that. And then from there flew down to Barcelona, and then we were there for 2 days, and then went back to Paris for the rest of the trip. So we were like, while we're outside of America, let's hit as many spots as possible.
Yeah, man, that's a whirlwind trip, man. Where did you go in Barcelona? 2 days isn't long.
Yeah, I was like, right after we left, I was like, we need to have a trip specifically for Barcelona, because like I skated for like 5 minutes there, but we got there at nighttime, and then we just walked around and checked things out. It's so sick in Barcelona. Just I love architecture, and like where our Airbnb was, we just walked around that area and it just felt like you were in like a medieval castle. Like it was so sick.
Which area were you staying? Do you know which area it was?
I have no idea.
Okay, cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but we walked around there for the night, and then the next day we went to what's the place called, the Sagrada Familia. Yeah. We went and checked that out because I've always seen pictures of that place. And then from there we went to Macba. I know Macba, like for skateboarding, that's a huge spot. And I went there just with my streetboard, and I got there with my streetboard and I was like, damn, for a streetboard this is very boring. Like it's awesome flat ground for skating, but like this is kind of like I like rode around, did a couple manis, and I was like, all right, let's go to the beach.
Yeah, I saw that you posted something and said it was like underrated or some overrated. Yeah.
The skateboard probably would have been really fun, but I don't know. I got there and I was like, it's just like a long ledge. There's like the stair set with the ledge, that one that Alex 50 180'd, which was awesome.
That's quite new. The drop ledge is fairly new.
Oh,
used to be there. Well, it wasn't off stairs before. It was like through a little gap,
really,
like a little thread the needle kind of ledge. Yeah, the stairs weren't there, and it was shorter.
Yeah.
But I think one thing you have to understand, me and Sam are of that age now, where when we say new, it means probably like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think Macba is not so much about it's an amazing spot. It was more about like the vibe and like the community and like how the scene that like grew up around it. For skateboarding, not for streetboarding.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I've seen videos and it's like anybody in Barcelona, you meet up at Macba and everyone's just hanging out and chilling. It's like a family vibe. Just that's like where the session starts. That's what I've heard.
So we skipped over the whole the dragon thing. We skipped straight to Worlds, man. Straight to the trip to Worlds. How did you link up with Brinton and that whole thing? How did that come about?
Yeah, I was starting to progress pretty quickly, and then the awesome thing about streetboarding is like all I did was post that I got a streetboard and tag Dragon, and it was like Dragon started following me, Sergi started following me, like half of the Dragon team started following me already. Which in skateboarding, if you post a thing and tag like Nigel Houston, he's not going to see that, you know? But yeah, so it was like, I was already like in contact with those guys right away. And I remember hitting up Sergi and Simon, both like asking them a couple of questions, like binding questions and stuff like that. And it was like crazy to me that they even responded, because I was just so used to not having that at all with skateboarding. But like I didn't know anybody to ask, so I was like, I'll just ask these pros, and then they just responded right away. I was like, oh, that's crazy that's like just how the community works. So yeah, I was already like in contact with them, and then it was maybe like, I don't know, maybe like a year into my skating or something like that. I was like getting a little more confident and progressing pretty quick. And I was on a call with Britton. I think we were talking about maybe doing something with free fall, because I worked at free fall, and we were like, maybe get like some cruisers in here in our shop or something. I think that's what the conversation was. And at the end of the call, he was like, hey, we're doing Dragon Weekender in Utah in like a month or whatever. And he was like, is that something you'd want to go out to? And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And I've been to Utah a couple times before that. Like, that's one of my favorite places to visit. So yeah, he told me to just come out to that, and I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll just fly out for that. And I got there and met everybody, and it was really awesome. It was like the second I got there, there was like really good vibes. Like I felt like I fit in super quickly. That's kind of how streetboarding is in general. I've noticed it's just like, it feels like just a big family. But yeah, I met all those guys and had such a good time out there. I was actually, my flight out there, me and Nate, Big Home Slice, we were going to go together, and we got to the gate and we watched our flight take off. And it was so, yeah, it was so rough. And then we went home, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not going. Like, I was so pissed. And my girlfriend was like, no, I found you tickets. Just take this flight. You got to go out there. And I was like, fine, I'll go. And yeah, I flew out there, and I'm so glad she convinced me to do that. Yeah, but I
your
skated with
girlfriend's
them.
like your tour manager or something.
Yeah, for real.
She's always hooking you up with flights.
Yeah.
And I've got a few
Yeah,
flights
that's
that need booking, man. I might send them over, because like, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I skated with them all weekend, and it was so fun. And at the end of it, it was like we had our last session at the Vans Park, and I got in the car to leave, and Brendan came up to my window, and he was like, hey, we're thinking about making an AM team for Dragon. We're like, got our eyes on a couple of guys, and you're one of them. So just put together like a 2-minute sponsor me video and like send it to us. And if it's cool, then we'll put you on. Just that alone was like crazy to me, because all I knew was skateboarding, and like every skater kid's dream is to grow up and get sponsored and travel around with the team and like just skate. And like in skateboarding, there's so many people who do it. The chances of that happening to you are like slim to none, you know? So I kind of just grew up like, that's never going to happen to me. Like, that's not really possible. So yeah, he told me that, and I was like, what? That's crazy. Like, I could get on this team. So I went home and just started filming immediately. And that was like a huge thing to push my skating, because at the time it was just doing it for fun, you know, like didn't take it very seriously. So I was like, if I can get on this team, I gotta like start pushing myself and like really try to progress. And I think at that time too, it was kind of like everybody kind of gets in those ruts where you're just like doing the same tricks, and you're not really like pushing yourself too much, and it can start to kind of get boring at that point too. And so that was like a really good push that I needed at that time anyway. So yeah, I just filmed this video throughout that summer, and I sent that over to them, and yeah, me and Grant, they were the ones that they picked to put on the team. And yeah, that was a very crazy experience.
Cool, man, cool. And then you did another trip after that back out to Utah to film a little bit of street. How was that trip? That was you and Grant mostly with B and Simon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that trip, man?
That was so sick, because I remember growing up watching skate videos and seeing like everyone loads into a van and they're just like going hunting spots. And I was always like, that looks so fun. Like, I wish I could do that. And then it was like, I finally got to do that. And the first clip I filmed, I did a nose mani on this like big weird statue, this like metal thing. And yeah, we were like hunting spots, and we kept going to all these spots, and they were just like duds. Like, no one wanted to skate them. They weren't very good. And we got to, we went to this no, it was a college. We went to this college, a university, I guess you'd call it. And we got out, and there was like this cool sculpture thing that we saw through the trees, and B was like, maybe that could be something, but I don't know. And I went and checked it out, and I came back and I was like, yeah, this is definitely, let's skate this. And they got out and they were like, really? Like, what are you gonna do on that? And we just laid out some plywood, and first I was doing it, we had a kicker there. First I was doing a no kicker, just hopping right up into it. but it was at
Okay.
like too hard of an angle. I would get on a nose manny and it would just like take all my speed right away. So then we had a kicker with us, so we brought that out, put that there, and the run up to it was like just flat sidewalk, and I had to push as hard as I could and then immediately cut over to the plywood. So I just lost a bunch of speed anyway. So it was like the most exhausting nose manual ever, but it was a really cool spot, and I got it. And yeah, after that, I remember feeling like this is like what it's like to be on a team and like go out and street skate with them and film a video. Like, so that was the first one in my life that I you know, I felt that. I've always wanted to experience that, and it felt so cool, like riding away from that spot. So yeah, that was an awesome experience. I've always wanted to like skate with a team of people and like go get some street clips. So it was pretty cool.
I just wanted to ask on that was because you hit handrail in that one. Was that your first real street handrail, or have you done one before? I was just curious.
No,
I never knew.
So I've always despised rails in general, and like skateboarding, like the only skaters who hit handrails are pro skaters. Like, you don't do that if you're not a pro, pretty much. At least where I'm from. Maybe in California, you got like 10-year-olds doing like overcrooks on handrails, but not where I'm from. So that was never in my mind to like ever even consider doing a handrail. And then when I started streetboarding more, I started hitting rails, and I never hit a handrail. And the whole tour, they were like, "Jake, you gotta get on a handrail. You got to do it." And they kept calling it my rail virginity. They were like, "We're gonna take your rail virginity from you." And they found this one rail that was like, it was like a 3-stair, but it was like kind of a weird height, and there was a branch that hung down really low, so it was like kind of sketchy, and it was to grass. They laid down plywood, and I was like, "I'll just try this," and I 50'd it, and it was like, it was all in my head. Like, you know, it's not a very difficult thing to do, but I've just always been afraid of them. And then I got a 5.0 on it, so then we used the 5.0, so that was cool.
Cool. What tips would you give anybody out there wanting to do their first street handrail on a streetboard? Any tips to like think about, because it's quite fresh in your mind, whereas I've got to think back
Well, for me it was like 100% mental. Even like standing there in front of the rail, I was like, I know I can do it and it's going to be so easy, but I'm like, I don't know, it was like this weird thing in my head, like I couldn't get myself to do it. And I don't know, you kind of gotta try to figure out a way to just make yourself stop thinking and just do it. I don't know, like the longer you stand there, the more scary it gets. You just gotta like block out your negative thoughts and just do it, because you know you're gonna be fine. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. No, thanks. Yeah, I was always curious about that, whether that was your first one. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, tomorrow I'm leaving for San Diego. So I'm going to land out there. I'm going to meet Grant out there, and then Sergi's going to fly out there, and also David is going to fly out there. We're all going to meet up, and then we're renting a van, and then driving. We're going to land in LA, then renting a van and driving down to San Diego, and meeting up with Simon. Simon lives in San Diego, and then we're going to skate, I guess mostly street throughout the week, and just try to get some content, film some stuff, and then the weekend coming up is going to be Dragon Weekender. So Dragon Weekenders in San Diego this year, so that's gonna be really cool.
So, cool. And are you filming for a section, or is it just for content?
Just content stuff right now. Oh, and I'm out of storage.
Oh, okay, don't worry. I think we can work it out. Maybe now. What are you filming on right now? Like the Zoom.
What are we?
Zoom?
This is on my iPad.
Okay, can you flip it horizontal, like landscape?
Oh yeah, I got you.
That'd be cool. Yeah, cool. I think we can. Yeah, we'll be able to work it out.
Yeah.
So we'll test it. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man, sweet. So yeah, you're heading out there. Have you skated in California before? Have you ever been out skating out there?
Yeah, I was in California in like 2016 maybe. I did a little bit of skateboarding, but I was like 2016, I feel like I wasn't that good at skateboarding. I wasn't like my skateboarding progressed a lot when we got our new skate park at our local park, because growing up I just had this crappy wooden prefab park. So like I got there, and like California parks are so different from parks that I grew up skating, and I was like, I can't skate any of this stuff. So yeah, it was like I skated there, but I didn't get the full skater experience where I could just ride everything in a park. But yes, I'm looking forward to it this time. It'll be a little more fun, I would think.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. California's hella fun to skate, man. I tell you, I remember going out there. I've been out there quite a lot over the years, but one thing for me was always so many of the spots that I've seen in the videos. When you see them in real life, they're like 10 times the size. Like some of the I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah, and like
how it always
not as
goes.
perfect as everyone thinks, man. Like the run up to El Toro was fucked. Like it was,
Was it?
really, really sketchy, bumpy. Yeah, like and there was like,
damn, I never knew that.
the-
Yeah, it
the
looks perfect
sealant,
in videos.
huh?
Yeah, I was just saying it looks perfect in videos. I never knew it was a.
Yeah, it's
I've
not.
never been there either, so I wouldn't know what it looks
we
like.
went there once and got kicked out straight away before we got to hit it, which I was
Yeah.
secretly quite happy about.
Oh man, I remember there was this I don't know which spot it was. It was like this famous ledge. It's like a gap out to ledge, like a flat. So you got stairs, but the ledge going flat out. And I was seeing it in videos. Like, oh, cool! That looks like a nice little gap. The gap out was like so big. It was like no way. It was yeah. That's one thing about California.
Yeah, that's
like
funny.
it's fun though. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's so hard to make that shit translate to video to show how hard certain spots are, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be filming a clip and I'm like, is this even worth it to be like killing myself over this? Because like people are gonna watch it on Instagram and just like see it for a second and scroll past and not care, you know?
Man, things have changed, man.
But,
things have changed.
That's how it goes.
But then it's like, and then sometimes you do a clip. I do a clip that's a throwaway that I was never even going to post, and then I'm like, I'll just post it, and everybody loves it. It's like, what? You've liked this versus that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite like for me because obviously I run a swim store. When I first started posting just shots of me swimming, and like obviously like it's just swimming, and I was getting all these likes. And I'm like, I spent hours trying to learn this trick and kill myself. And I get like whatever amount of likes or shares or comments or whatever. And then it's just me. Hey, I'm just swimming, man. And I get all of these likes. It's like, that's when I was like, oh, maybe there's a business. And I know I know Ishmael, going back to Ishmael, he was saying recently about, because he started DJing, but he's obviously spent dedicated life to piano playing. And he can't get his head around how his DJ clips and stuff gets all of this attention. And the piano playing, which is like a life dedicated to the art, it just doesn't. He doesn't get it. So there's a couple of like circling back around two worlds before we actually get onto the worlds part. That's like a bit. I was really curious to ask you, like, because you'd never been out of the US, like, how did you find the cultural experience? Like coming to Europe, where like Europe is obviously you travel a few hundred miles and you're speaking a completely different language. Culturally, architecturally, very different. Culturally, very different. How did you find the experience of traveling in Europe?
I was literally, I just said this to my girlfriend last night. I was at a local grocery store here, and I was looking for a laundry bag because it's just a good thing to have when you're on a trip. Because when we went out to Europe, I didn't have one, so I had to go find one in Paris. And I just remember like going through every aisle, and I had my phone, and I would have to take a picture of something and scan it to translate it because it took forever to find a laundry bag, like trying to find the stuff you need. And I was just in my local grocery store yesterday, and I was looking for a laundry bag, and I remember like just walking down the aisle and like being able to read everything that like something looked like a laundry bag, and I read it, and I was like, oh, that's not. And then I kept walking. And I was like, wow, you never realize how much you take that for granted until you go to another country and you don't speak their language. Like how difficult life is to just get around and do simple things like find a laundry bag. So like, and that's the cool thing about Europe too, is like in America, you can drive for 3 days straight and people are going to speak the same language everywhere you go. But like you go to Europe and you go to the next country over and it's like a totally different culture. It's super cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, in the Netherlands, though, man.
What about the Netherlands?
Everyone speaks English in the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's true. It was a lot easier getting around there.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is now what used to be crazy when we were young was it wasn't just traveling between these places and you had a different language. You had a different currency in every country before the euro. And that was just madness. You had to have your pesetas, your francs, your krona. Like, well, actually, still have krona up in like Denmark, but you'd have like what were the German ones? I can't remember what it was now.
Deutschmark.
Deutschmark. That's it. The Deutschmark. Yeah. But cool. Cool. I mean, I think now let's talk about Worlds. How was the Worlds experience? Like entering your first ever World Championships? How nervous were you? How much did you like? Did you look at like the skate park online before you got there to like plan certain tricks, or was it something you really grew when you actually turned up at the Area 51?
Yeah. I mean, you guys were posting videos of the park, and like I was looking at it and trying to think of things I could do, but it was kind of like what you were saying earlier. You know, when you get there, it's going to be totally different.
Yeah,
like,
that never
you know,
fucking
like,
works,
oh,
man.
yeah, like I'll be like, oh, I'll like front tail this down rail, it'll be fine. And then you get there and you're like, I'm not even gonna touch that down rail. Yeah. So like I kind of looked at stuff a little bit and was like, maybe I could do a couple things here and there. But when you actually get there, it's like, and you'll even like paint a picture in your mind of like how the course is laid out. And then you get there and things are in totally different places. And you're like, oh, I thought that was over here or whatever. So I like kind of thought of some things, but I knew it would be so different when I got there. So I didn't think too much into it. But yeah, Worlds overall, that was such a wild experience. Getting to be like surrounded by that many streetboarders at one time was unreal. Because like where I'm at right now, there's like streetboarders out in Utah and like some in California, but there's like not really anyone where I live. And the only people who do it are like friends of mine who I've gotten into it. So it's like if you do streetboard around me, it's like someone who has even less experience than I do. So like to be there with like the best guys in the world, like I feel like the majority of the time I was just there sitting watching because like it was such a cool thing to like seeing like Mario do his thing, which is just like everything. Like I could just sit and watch Mario skate a skate park like all day long. He just makes it look so fun. But yeah, I spent so much time just watching everybody ride, and I was like, this is such a cool experience. Getting to talk to everybody, like everyone is so nice and friendly. Like it's people from all around the world. You half the time you don't speak the same language, but like it's like you feel like you've known them forever when you meet them. Like it's just super friendly, and yeah, that was really cool to experience that.
Cool. And then how about your actual the contest for you? Like you made finals on your first go, so that's a big achievement, man. So like how did your how was like, you know, how were the qualifiers and then your final runs?
Yeah, so I actually never liked contests because like with riding, I feel like riding is kind of just like freedom to me. Like you do whatever you want. Like it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. You're just doing your thing. And like a contest, you go there and you're getting judged, and you have a time limit, and like you can ride certain things, whatever. So not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Like there's people who love that, and that's super sick. But it's just not really my thing. So I just kind of went into it like I'm just gonna skate how I skate. I don't really care like what the judges give me, or I'm just gonna like have some fun. And yeah, so we went in and qualifying started, and I was like still nervous. I knew I wasn't gonna like take things too seriously and like really try to kill myself, but like I still want to like have fun. And like when everybody else is like going crazy, you feel like you want to like step it up too, to like, you know, you want to have fun with everybody. And so yeah, qualifying started, and I was like, I never been in a contest. I figured like qualifying, you like just skate, try to be consistent, try to look good, and then finals, you just break out your best tricks. And qualifying started, and like the first round of people were gone, and I was like, is this qualifying or finals? Like they're doing the craziest shit. Like I was like, what is going on? And people were just doing gnarly stuff, like stuff I would never even consider trying. And I was like, okay, so I guess I gotta like do a little better than I was expecting. Like I had like a general run planned out, and so then I just like skated and I was just having fun. But then like that, I did a front Smith on the flat to down rail and 3'd out. I wasn't really planning on doing that, but I was like, that's something kind of harder. I'll just try that. It took a few tries, but I got a sloppy one. But yeah, like I didn't really plan to take it too seriously. And I saw people like going crazy. I was like, damn, all right. And yeah, and then I just kind of had fun when I was out there. Did a couple of weird manuals, my favorite. But yeah, and then Sergi came up and he was like, yeah, you're in finals. You're skating in like 2 minutes. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. and so then I like grabbed my board, and because I was like, I didn't think I did like that amazing. But he was like, yeah, you're in finals, like get out there. And then you announced like the lineup for like which the order for everyone going. And while you were announcing that, there was this kid next to me. I guess he was like one of the local kids just hanging out there. And he was just like, can you backflip? Can you do like all these things? And I'm like, just having this conversation with this kid. And you were like announcing names, and you were like, Jake Keenan, you're going first. And you had to like wave to me to get my attention, let me know I'm going first. And I was like, damn, I'm going first.
And you did a backflip. You did a backflip for the kids.
Well, so so like it's finals, and I was like, I have to do something cool, like, and I've done that backflip like twice before. It was always on like quarter pipes. The first time was actually on a resi vert ramp, and then the second time was on the Utah tour that we did with Dragon, and that was in a bowl with like a pretty big quarter pipe. And I was like, if I saw like it's like 2/4 and then almost like a bank ramp. And I was like, I think if I like really muscled it around, I might be able to land that. And that would be like pretty cool. Like, cause I didn't have anything too extravagant planned for my run. So I was like, I'll just try to like throw that out there. Yeah. So my first run, I tried it and didn't land it. So I just was like, all right, that's good for my run. I'll try to get it on the next run. And the next run I did it again, and then I didn't land it again. And I was like, damn, I was trying to get it like first try in there. And then I was like, I had a couple other tricks planned, but I was like I know like the crowd would like to see a flip. They always like seeing flips. And I was like, I don't even care. I'm just gonna like loop around and try to get this flip again. And I looped around and I came back to try it again, and I was so out of breath because like throwing that hard, it just takes everything out of you. So I like tried it once, looped around, came back, and I was so out of breath, and I had to stop and just kill all my time. And then I looped back around again, and then I heard you like counting down or something as I was crossing that one ramp, and I was like, this is probably gonna be after time, so I don't even care. And I just threw it as hard as I could, and then I like landed, put a hand down, skirted out of there, and it was pretty sloppy, but the crowd was pumped, so I was like, it was fun.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
You killed it, man. It's like making finals. That flip was sick as well, man.
Thank you.
It's for me. It's less about the placings, but it's just having that, like you said, that community of everybody together, being able to. Mario, dude, he's such a powerful skater. He's just got so much power and everything. It's insane. And just seeing more for me, seeing everybody together, just vibing. It's like, you can't. There's nothing else out there like that touches that, like that yearly thing. So.
Yeah. The vibes are very good. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we're getting close to time, so just final things. What's next for Jake Keenan? What have you got planned? Have you got any? You planning a section? To film a section? You planning another trip? You got dates in mind back to Europe next year? Like, what's in the future?
Yeah, I would like to go because Eindhoven's happening again next year, so I'd like to go to that. Videos. I actually just filmed this video. It wasn't like a crazy video part, like going hard trying my gnarliest stuff. It was like this guy who's like a few towns over hit me up. I didn't even know him. He just found my Instagram page, and he was like, hey, I'm like a filmmaker and I saw your stuff and it looks cool. Like, would you want to like work on something? And he has a lot of like old cameras, and so he told me about that, and I was like, oh yeah, let's shoot something on like an old camera with film stock. And so we went down to Philly and we just spent a day like filming like cool artsy shots. We went to like FDR because that's just like a visually pleasing place. And we went to Penn's Landing, and we filmed a bunch of cool stuff. And it was just like chill, like cruising through Philly and just like having fun. And so that, I think he's probably wrapping that up today. So hopefully that'll be coming out soon. That video is going to be called City Surfing. So that'll be coming out pretty soon. It's just like a chill, artsy, fun video. But I'm supposed to be starting an actual video part probably definitely after I come back from San Diego, because I'm leaving tomorrow. But me and my one homie who is he's a cinematographer. He's amazing with the camera. I had this idea. It was actually supposed to be my minute 30 video. Originally, that's what I had this idea for it. And then the Dragon guys, they were like, oh, we're all doing a video together for minute 30. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm scrapping my idea then. And so then I was like, maybe I'll just make it as like its own video part. And so I'm going to hire my homie Shane. He's going to film everything for me. And I have this whole thing planned out in my mind. So I wanted to have it done by like fall time, but me and him have both been so busy. So now I'm just hoping I get it done before winter ruins everything. But hopefully after I get back from San Diego.
Is Big Home Slice getting involved?
Give him like a little 30-second run of like his craziest nose blunt tricks in there.
Yeah, man, you should get him on a streetboard more often. He's sick, that guy.
Yeah. He's sick. I've met a lot of people who are like very skilled at what they do, but that kid, like, you can just tell him to do anything. He has like no regard for his well-being. He'll just try anything. And it's just so sick because there's times when like I've been riding for like twice as long as he is probably, and I'll be like he's one of my favorite people to ride with because I'll be like at the park and I'll be like I want to do like this trick but it's really scary. I don't know if I got that. I know I got the skill to do it, but I'm just a pussy and I won't do it. And then he's like, oh, I got it, and he doesn't really have it a lot of times. And he'll just like go for it and just like totally obliterate himself. And I'm like, damn, if he's just trying that, I have to do it. And it's not always like that. He is very skilled on a street board, but like he will try anything. Like he has no fear, and that's part of why he's progressed super quick too. I like watching him ride, but yeah, he's a good person to push you.
Cool, man. Cool. And then
Yeah.
I've got a question. I'm looking at that trip to Philly. Sounds like that the more arty style thing. Well, looking forward to that, man. I really want to hit up Philly.
Yeah.
I've never been to Philly, so at some point I'd like to make
a
trip over, man. That's always been.
I don't really know anything about Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. That's where Rocky's set. I know that. I don't really know nothing about Pennsylvania.
No, Philly. That's where the
lots of papers from, man.
Oh, are they?
You
I didn't even know that.
I didn't hear any of that shit. Zoom cross chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're all just talking.
Cool. Yeah. I think we're all just cool. Well, I think we're over an hour now. So, Sam, is there any last questions you want to hit before wrapping up?
No, not really.
No,
cool. I can't think of anything, man. Thanks for talking to us. It's been good watching your progression over a short amount of time. I think it's really exciting. Guys like you getting into the sport, and guys like your mate. I just Big Home Slice. Is that his name? What's his name? Nate. That's it.
Big Home Slice. His name's Nate. Yeah.
Nate. I like Big Home Slice. Yeah.
It's a good name.
And just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that.
No, definitely. And then I always do a quick fire round of little questions. So these are going to be like answered straight away. So let's hit this up. So if there's one streetboarder you had to be stuck on a desert island with, who would it be?
Britton Gunderson. I love that guy because he's like a child in a grown man's body. He's just so much fun to be around.
He would be useful for building stuff, I think, as well. Like he could build you a little shelter and stuff. He's very dude, he could like just climb up those trees and get the coconut. It's so easy to forget about it.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. What, like the monkeys in Shadow Monkeys, isn't it?
Yeah,
when they
coconuts.
Then what's your favorite trick, the hardest trick you've ever done?
Oh damn. I don't know. I've been working on a lot of manual. Well, I'm always working on manual tricks, but I'm working on a lot of more like after skating with Bob. I love the way fakie manual look, but I've always sucked at them. Switch manuals are like I can kind of do them, but just recently for that 3-trick flick, I did like half cab Manny, back 180, switch Manny 180 out, and that was like a really cool feeling. It's like not the most amazing looking trick, but like that was like a new one to me, and that felt super cool. So maybe that one's like my favorite one I've done so far.
It's sick, man.
Yeah.
It's sick.
What's the trick that gives you the best feeling?
Any many trick really, because you have to battle them for so long. I remember there was another one I did. I think you mentioned it. It was in an edit that I made, but I think you mentioned that trick specifically. I don't know if you'd remember. I did. It was like maybe like half cab nose mani, but I had all this momentum, so I just kept spinning the nose mani like in a 3 kind of, and then I 180'd out. It was on a bank ramp. But it was just this weird like spin into a nose manual, and I kept spinning and then spun out.
I've seen you do a lot of those kinds of things.
Yeah. But it was like it was kind of like it was a regular 360 nose manual, and I just kept the spin going on a bank ramp and came back in. But I kind of just like threw the 360 and just landed in the manual and just kind of tried to hold on for dear life and hope that it worked out. But that one felt cool. Just any trick that it's always Manny tricks. You're just battling them forever. You finally put it down. It always feels great.
Sweet, man. And then final one, what's the best streetball video you've ever seen? Which is the one that you of the ones you've seen so far?
I want to say Cancellation because that like kind of got me into it, but also Bob's part in Strap In to Live, that is so good. I don't know, probably one of those two.
Cool.
But I do need to see more. That's one of my favorite things about all the stuff you've been posting on Red Pen, like all that old stuff. Like you posted, it was just like a tutorial for like some snakeboard tutorial, but it was like so sick to see, like, because I got into it recently. Like I don't know all this old history, so like I love seeing all that old stuff.
Yeah, cool, man. And I always see you comment, and truthfully, there's a lot of what I'm doing is it's like targeting not just you, but you and everybody else who's coming into, because hey, that's the great thing with the sport. We have a rich history. Some videos, you know, even they might be 10, 15 years old, they're still sick. You know, they still got some sick riding in there. So trying to make sure that people have
definitely
a way to access all of that stuff, because it's out there. You just need to know what to search for.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. Well, Jake, Keenan, thank you so much for joining us. I love watching you skate. Anyway, you're one of my favorite riders to watch, and I love watching your progression. And like, hey, man, it means so much to me to have like real talented new blood in the scene. So thank you.
Yeah. You got any thanks, people you want to thank, Jake?
Yeah, thanks to everyone at Freefall. They've been a huge part of just streetboarding for me in general. Always so supportive of me. Thanks to my girlfriend, she's my manager. Thanks to you guys for having me on. This is like one of the coolest things about streetboarding is like people are like so friendly to you. Like you guys like hit me up to do this, and I was like, really, you want me to be on here? But like, I don't know, it's super cool. I'm just like really grateful that this community is so nice to me, and like everyone's so friendly. I love it.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much, Jake. It's been a pleasure having you on. If you guys like this content, you want to see more Viper Room, hit that like and subscribe button below. And Sam, any last words from you?
No last words. No comment.
Thank you. Cool, because I want to go see one the rugby. No, thank you very much, guys. Until next week, Viper Room Streetboard podcast. And thank you, guys. We out.